Hello friends, welcome you all back to GIA's Potential Builder Current Affairs Sprints Program for UPSC Prelims 2021. In the description of our channel, we are going to provide you with Telegram channel link where every day we are posting few questions as well as few information for exam and other updates. So for timely updates and quick revision, follow us on YouTube as well as our Telegram channel. We are providing you with the phone number of the channel, phone number of our institute, where you can contact for admission related inquiries. So these are the 10 topics that we are going to discuss today. So without any further delay, let's move on into the topics. The first topic which we are going to see is about G7 summit. So first, let's see why it's in news. UK has invited India, South Korea, and Australia to participate in the G7 summit as guest countries. So this is not the first time in which India has participated. Earlier in 2019, in France, the G7 summit happened and India participated in it. So this happens to be the 47th G7 summit. So earlier India has participated in 45th summit. US also invited India to participate in the 2020 summit, but due to pandemic, the summit didn't happen. So let's see few facts about G7 summit. So G7 is an informal grouping majorly for discussing economy related issues like money laundering, terrorist financing, those kind of issues by world's leading industrial nations. So totally there are 7 countries in G7. That's the name behind the organization. One is Germany, UK, France, Canada, US, Italy, and Japan. So leading industrial nations. So this was established in the year 1975, and the meeting to this summit are held annually. In 1998, Russia was actually inducted into the summit, but due to annexation of Crimea from Ukraine by Russia illegally, it was removed from the summit. So in the year 2014, Russia was removed from the summit and again it became G7. So when Russia joined, it was G8, and after removing Russia, it became G7. As we know, India is not a member of the G7 summit. So another important thing which we need to note here is G7 has an organ called FATF, which is Financial Action Task Force, whose headquarters is in OECD, that is in Paris, France. So it is headquartered in OECD. Secretariat of FATF is in OECD. For FATF, the highest decision-making body is FATF plenary. That is the highest decision-making body. Basically, FATF is a Eurasian group on combating money laundering and terrorist financing. Though India is not a member of G7 summit yet, it's a member of FATF. So India is a member of FATF, and there are other such initiatives like G7. Those are G4 and G20. Before going into it, let's see few terms in FATF. FATF has 2 lists, namely blacklist and grey list. This is basically to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. So what they do is that in grey list என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா, they give a warning to countries who involved in terrorist financing. For example, recently Pakistan was put into grey list. Pakistan was given a warning like, if you will continue with terrorist financing, then we will blacklist you. Blacklist is in the sense they are non-cooperating countries, those countries which lend to terrorist organization or which does state-sponsored terrorism. So non-cooperative states. Basically, now there are 2 countries in this. One is North Korea and other is Iran. So these are the 2 countries which are in FATF blacklist, Iran and this one. So FATF is also a intergovernmental body. It was established in the year 1989. 1989. It was established in the 1989 in G7 summit that was held in Paris. The summit happened in Paris and there it was formed. So to combat, totally there are 37 countries in FATF. There is also another body called as EAG, that is Eurasian Group on Combating Money Laundering and Financing of Terrorism, which has 9 countries in it. So it's called EAG. It has 9 countries in it, and India is one among the member. Same, this is also for taking necessary measures to combat money laundering and to give solutions on how to stop this money laundering and terrorist financing. So these are basic information about G7. Let's quickly see what is G4 and G20. G4, in both these G4 and G20, India is a member. So we need to know about it. G4 enna appdin pathina, it's a group of 4 countries which wants membership into UN, as permanent membership into UN Security Council. Those are India, Brazil, Japan, and Germany. These are the 4 countries which require membership, permanent membership into UNSC. And G20 is an informal summit which also works basically relating to high economic countries. This is also a group of high economic countries. This is also an informal summit, but they don't restrict themselves to economic issues alone. They go wider, discussing about other issues, other global issues. Okay, and this is also the same with G7. Though G7 is basically for economic related issues and how to grow the economy and those things, yet they are wider in their working. Other global issues like terrorism and those things. So security issues, terrorism and those things. So this is the information about this organization, and G20 has 19 member countries plus European Union. So let's move on to the next issues. And one more additional information, when G8 was there, India has participated five times as guest member in the G7 summit, G8 summit, sorry. So moving on to the next topic, it's Nagar Van scheme. So let's see basic about this Nagar Van scheme. Eppa launch pandranga appdin pakumbodhu, it was launched on World Environment Day, which is on June 5. So it's basically an urban forestry scheme which emphasizes on urban forestry. So they have planned to grow 200 urban forests over 5 years period. 5 வருஷத்துக்கு 200 urban forest வந்து grow பண்ண போறாங்க wherever it is possible. And this environment day is held basically on UNEP's theme. Every year the theme keeps on changing, and this year theme is celebrating biodiversity. So India this World Environment Day is celebrated with a theme called Tie for Nature. So how we are going to develop this urban forestry abin pakumbodhu, we are going to take this Varje urban forest in Pune as a role model, which is in Maharashtra. We are going to take this as a role model, and this is financed through CAMPA, which is compensatory afforestation fund management and planning authority. That is the full form of CAMPA. This is the fund through which the above program is going to be financed through. So idhula eppadi pandranga appdin paakumbodhu, this Nagar Van scheme, they are going to take a plot and they are going to plant few species of plants, herbs, shrubs, everything will be included in it. And also they are going to help in, they are also going to develop animals, like grow animals, adime vandu support panna poranga. So basically it will be a biodiversical ecosystem where animals, plants both are being supported. So adha inga nadakudhu. So what we need to know is who is the financing agency, the theme of the World Environment Day, and which is the role model. So urban Maharashtra has been Varje urban forest from Maharashtra has been taken as the role model. So facts regarding the scheme pakumbodhu, India supports around 8% of biodiversity, but the land mass which it has is only 2.5%. So 2.5% land mass, like 8% of biodiversity India is already supporting. So this tells the importance of conservation of our biodiversity and how to keep it sustained. So adha idodada. So this urban forestry nala enna ahuna, water issues and those things, air purification, everything is interlinked to it. Everything will be safeguarded. Okay, ma? So there are few schemes which are related to Nagarvan schemes. Like same, like one is the Miyawaki method. Miyawaki method is also a method of urban afforestation, which is based on Japanese model of urban afforestation. So இதுல என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா, they are going to choose a small plot of land. இந்த small plot of land எடுத்து என்ன பண்ண போறாங்கன்னா, they are going to plant herbs, shrubs, or chinna chinna kutti kutti trees and the herbs, shrubs. They are going to plant those things basically for our daily utilities and those things. So adha urban Miyawaki method. It will be grown in a very small patch of land wherever it is available, like நம்ம house backyard இருக்கட்டும் அந்த மாதிரி இடத்துல they are going to just grow trees. So what is the basic thing behind is that there will be many species of plants and trees planted so that each one will be fighting among themselves to get the required nutrition. So what will happen is each tree or plant, they will gain the capacity to grow themselves with the available nutrition. That is the method of Miyawaki scheme. So it's a Japanese model. Another one பார்த்தோம்னா community forest, community reserves and conservation reserves. இதெல்லாமே வந்து protected sites. So community reserve, it's a voluntary people வந்துட்டு கொடுக்கிற landsல we are going to grow plants and we are going to conserve biodiversity. So conservation reserves is basically government of India's lands are being utilized for protecting our wildlife and nature. So அந்த இடத்துல we are going to grow trees, we are going to conserve it by our way. So அதுல பண்றோம் and these are protected areas. Both are protected areas, but வந்து இந்த இதெல்லாம் protectionல வராது. So this is basically this. So Miyawaki methods is also called as mini forest. The forest நம்ம create பண்றது ரெண்டுத்துமே வந்துட்டு mini forest ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். So basically this Nagarvan scheme is converting barren land. This was basically done in Pune. So converting barren land into green forest. This is the reason behind this scheme. Okay. So when we are coming to World Environment Day from 1974, we are celebrating this World Environment Day. It is actually in 2018, this World Environment Day was hosted by India, where we had the theme of plastic pollution. So beat plastic pollution was the theme for it. Beat plastic pollution. So நம்ம இதை எப்படி பண்ண போறோம் அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது we are going to this Nagarvan scheme we are பார்க்கும்போது we are going to collaborate forest department officials, locals, municipalities, NGOs working for conservation. Everyone will come together and they will do the required things. So moving on to the next issue. So this is how the scheme works. So moving on to the next issue, it's the MPLAD scheme. So MPLAD scheme oda inner name da vandu Sansad Nidhi Yojana. So MPLAD scheme la enna pandranga basically certain amount like 5 crores will be given to each MP to develop his area or the state to which from which he is elected. So Lok Sabha va irukumbodhu avanga constituency they need to grow, they need to develop, like வந்து public utilities கொடுக்கிறதுக்காக இருக்கிற scheme தான் வந்துட்டு MPLAD scheme. So member of parliament local area development scheme தான் வந்து MPLAD scheme. So 5 crores வந்துட்டு to each MP we are going to allot. And if he is a Rajya Sabha member, then within the state he can choose an area where he can bring development facilities like building hospitals, schools, roads, or water resources. எதுவா வேணாலும் இருக்கலாம், but he needs to develop an area. So Rajya Sabha வரும்போது from the state from which he has been elected. Coming to nominated members, they can do this scheme anywhere they wanted or particular இது வந்து choose பண்ணிக்கலாம். So nominated members வந்துட்டு they can do in whichever state they wanted. So யார் implementing agency ன்னு பார்க்கும்போது Ministry of Statistics and Program Development தான் இதோட implementing agency. It's a central sector scheme. So central sector னுங்கும்போது 100% funded by the central government. That is the do of the scheme. And இதுல பேசிக்கா வந்துட்டு என்ன பார்க்கணும், this scheme was launched in the year 1993 to 94 and it's a non-lapsable fund. Like இப்போ வந்து complete if you are not utilizing the fund, then it will be carried over to the next year of the concerned MP. So அதுதான் வந்துட்டு நான் லாப்சபிள் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கான அர்த்தம். ஸோ வந்து இந்த ஃபண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் யாருக்கு போகும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, it will be going to the district from Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It will be going to the district magistrate. அந்த district எங்க பண்ண போறாங்களோ it will be going to that district authority, and the fund will be released in installments. 2.5 crore அந்த மாதிரி installmentsல ரிலீஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. And the citizen can also ask for RTA, like what kind of work is going on and the madri. And if the development project which the MPs wanted to do, if it meets the required criteria, like enna mari development kondu vara porangaன்றது வந்து implementing agency கிட்ட இருந்து proper ana, if they get the sanction, then they can go ahead with the scheme. So initially this scheme was under Rural Ministry. In 1993 when it was launched, it was under Rural Ministry. Later on it was shifted to Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So இதுல வந்துட்டு பார்த்தோம்னா every year வந்துட்டு this MPs has to bring some development project. Every year இதை வந்து நம்ம இது பண்ணணும். Like 15% of the project should be in 15% வந்து SC எங்க இருக்காங்களோ அந்த ஏரியால ப்ராஜெக்ட கொண்டு வரணும். At the same time 7.5% ST இருக்கிற ஏரியாஸ்ல this projects has to be carried on. So this is the requirement of the scheme. So moving on to the next issue. So in the scheme la vandu paakumbodhu we should know when it was launched, whether it's a centrally sponsored scheme, then implementing agency and how it works basically. So idu yen news la irukku appdin paakumbodhu, due to COVID pandemic the MPLAD scheme has been suspended. Adaachu or pandemic iduvara varaikum settle ara varaikum MPLAD scheme ku funds dispose agadu appdin sollirpaanga, and it comes as a grant in aid madri vandrum. So moving on to the next issue. So this is about e-Lok Adalat. So இது எதுக்கு நியூஸ்ல இருக்கு? ஸோ பார்க்கும்போது many states and duties like Delhi, Chhattisgarh, they have formed this Lok Adalat. Lok Adalatங்கிறது வந்து it's a people's court for dispute resolution. ஸோ வந்து pending cases, கோர்ட்ஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய pending cases இல்லைன்னா அந்த கோர்ட்ஸுக்கு வந்துட்டு போகக்கூடிய cases which can be appealed in courts. அந்த cases எல்லாமே can be heard through Lok Adalat. இது வந்து people's court or alternate dispute resolution mechanism நம்ம மேட் பண்ணுவோம். This is based on Gandhian principles, and வந்து DPSP ல வந்துட்டு 39 article 39A of DPSP mentions about free legal aid to deprived and weaker sections of society, justice based on equal opportunity adella. So this is also covered under Article 14, which speaks about equality before law, and Article 22, which speaks about detention and those things. So இது ரெண்டுமே வந்துட்டு இதுல வந்து இதுவாகுது. So major of Chhattisgarh. So இது பார்த்தோம்னா it was given statutory status under Legal Services Authority Act, but initially when it was formed, it was done in Gujarat as a informal court மாதிரி தான் it was functioning. In the year 1982 voluntary basis it was functioning. After that, seeing its kind of success, many states also implemented it, and then it was given a legal status. So இப்போ வந்துட்டு to the pandemic period to reduce the number of pending cases, what they have done is ஒரு e-platform they are going to conduct the cases which are pending in front of court of law. So என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, there will be application form which we need to online application form through the SAMAR ஒரு platform இருக்கும். There will be a form and we need to submit the form. Required details has to be given, and then a OTP will be generated which we need to after the case has been heard and the thing has been solved, issue has been solved. After that, and the sentence or whatever, if they have, once the case has finished, an OTP will be given which we need to submit, and the case will get closed. இப்படிதான் நடக்குது. So basically நம்மளுக்கு வந்து வீட்ல வேற ஆன்லைன்ல வந்துட்டு if you are any machine or something, Airtel நெட்வொர்க்குக்கு வந்து எப்படி நமக்கு ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகலைன்னா we do a complaint and they come, they rectify the complaint and they ask for OTP. It works like same way. But which authority is giving பார்க்கும்போது SAMA, it's a portal. So this portal helps in filing of the information. This is how it works. And இதுல பார்த்தோம்னா லோக் அதாலத்துக்கு there is no court fee. And even if the court, on some cases, if they are pending in the court of law and those cases are taken by the Lok Adalat now, we would have paid the court fee that will be refunded back if it comes to Lok Adalat. So இதுதான் இது. So வந்து here issues or cases are solved amicably. That is the major of this Lok Adalat. So it's basically a alternate dispute resolution mechanism. 5 types of alternate dispute resolution mechanism இருக்கு. ஒன்னு வந்து conciliation. What is conciliation அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது it will be done by a neutral member. Both the sides will be heard, informations will be collected from both the parties, and finally he will suggest the solutions available. அதுலேருந்து they can come to a common solution. அடுத்தது வந்து arbitration. Arbitration is also done by a neutral member. The information and evidences will be collected by the neutral member, and then he will award the verdict or he will award what can be done. So இது வந்து அந்த sentence வந்து இவங்க award பண்றதுனால it's called as arbitration. There is only a minor difference. In conciliation, the parties who are in dispute, they have to choose. In arbitration, the arbiter will give his award. Then comes the negotiation. Negotiation is done between the parties themselves. They come to common terms. And then mediation. Mediation is a very flexible thing. It's kind of like one more person, 2-3 persons will be there and they will be communicating with the disputing parties, and then kind of panchayats madri. They will come and solve the issue. அப்புறம் வந்துட்டு collaborative law. Collaborative lawல வந்துட்டு பார்த்தோம்னா these both the parties come together and they come to common terms and they make sure that they don't go and litigate. That is the collaborative law. So these are the 5 types of alternate dispute resolution mechanism. So let's go on to the next issue. So next issue அப்படி பார்க்கும்போது it's a India-France strategic dialogue that would have been held. So virtual dialogue வந்து held ஆயிருக்கும். அங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னா they would have spoken on many issues like the பார்த்தோம்னா like climate change, sustainable development, and வந்து அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய இஷ்யூஸை பத்தி பேசியிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ money laundering, combating terrorism, then about this pandemic, how to bring an end to this pandemic, vaccinations, அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயத்தை பத்தி பேசியிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ ஃபர்தரா நம்ம வந்து டீட்டெயிலாக பார்க்கும்போது they both France and India entered into a strategic dialogue in the year 1988. And importance of France for India அப்படி பார்க்கும்போது France was the first country to join India's International Solar Alliance program. It's a idea of India which was proposed. ஓகேங்களா? ஸோ இந்த இன்டர்நேஷனல் சோலார் அலையன்ஸ்ல France வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ இன்டர்நேஷனல் சோலார் அலையன்ஸ் the solar between countries between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, where the solar sun's rays வந்து ரொம்ப அதிகமா வந்து solar energy maximum utilize பண்ண முடியுமோ those countries renewable energy shift, so climate change வந்து கம்மி பண்றதுக்காக இருக்கிறது. ஸோ அதை வந்து இந்தியாவோட complete proposal, and France was the first country to join it, and France was supporting India in this. அடுத்தது வந்துட்டு Rafale aircraft. We are going to get around 36 aircraft. These are fighter planes. Rafales are fighter jets. So after 23 years, we are getting fighter jets from a country. So first fighter jet நம்ம எந்த country கிட்ட வாங்குனோம்னா it was from Russia. Sukhoi was purchased from Russia. This was the first plane. After 23 years, we are going to get fighter planes from Russia. So இது வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா it's a twin engine multi-role fighter jet. Twin engine multi-role fighter jet. So அதுதான் இது. So 36 fighter planes are going to be sent to India. So அடுத்தது வந்துட்டு இன்னொன்னு project 75. In this we are going to develop 6 Scorpion class submarines with the help of Maersk Dogs, which is a French company. Maersk Dogs அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு French company மூலமா தான் நம்ம வந்துட்டு இந்த இதை வந்துட்டு பண்ண போறோம். ஸோ அது ஒரு இது. ஸோ இந்த 6 Scorpion class submarines என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது Kalvari, INS Kalvari, INS Kanderi. I guess Kanderi was the first one. So INS Kalvari and INS Kanderi, INS Karanj, INS Vela, INS Vagir, and INS Bahashir. These are the 6 Scorpion class submarines. So they are going to be inducted. அடுத்தது பார்த்தோம்னா in 2019 India would have said that it will this Namaste France அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு டீல்குள்ள வருவோம் where we are going to engage in climate change, sustainable development, and combating many such global issues. They both will talk. இது வந்து 2021 to 22 குள்ள we are going to come அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொன்னாங்க. 2019ல India would have proposed this, but this is yet to be sure as pandemic is on its face. அடுத்தது வந்துட்டு பார்த்தோம்னா they both are going to develop the third version of Trishna. Trishnaங்கிறது வந்துட்டு பார்த்தோம்னா it's a earth observation space satellite. ஸோ இது எதுக்குன்னா வந்து ஈகோசிஸ்டம் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் அண்ட் வாட்டர் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ், வாட்டர் யூஸ் மானிட்டரிங்காக இருக்கிறது. ஈகோசிஸ்டம் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் எப்படி இருக்கு, ஈகோசிஸ்டம்ல வந்து எந்த அளவுக்கு ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் இருக்கு, அண்ட் வந்து வாட்டர் யூஸ், ஹவு மச் ஆஃப் வாட்டர். ஆஸ் வி நோ வாட்டர் இஸ் கன்சிடர்ட் ஆஸ் அ மேஜர் சோர்ஸ் ஃபார் தேர்ட் வேர்ல்டு வார் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். ஸோ வாட்டர் யூஸ் மானிட்டரிங் பிகாஸ் இட்ஸ் அ கெட்டிங் எக்ஸாஸ்டட் அட் அ வெரி ரேபிட் பேஸ். ஸோ அதை வந்து செக் பண்றதுக்காக தான் இந்த சேட்டலைட் கிருஷ்ணா. ஸோ இட்ஸ் பிட்வீன் இந்தியா அண்ட் பிரான்ஸ். திஸ் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி த தேர்ட் சேட்டலைட். இட்ஸ் அ earth observation satellites. So coming to defense exercise between India and France, Shakti is for army, between Indian army and France army. Varuna is between Indian navy and France navy, and then Garuda is between Indian Air Force and France Air Force. And this one more thing about the Scorpions class submarine is that these are diesel electric submarines. So which we need to note in this. So it's a diesel electric submarines. Submarines with advanced air propulsion system. Advanced air propulsion system. So this is all about India and France. So we're coming to the next issue. RAISE initiative. So RAISE in the it's a Ministry of Power initiative. So enna appdi paakumbodhu its full form is retrofit of air conditioning to improve indoor air quality for safety and efficiency. Majorly indoor air pollution வந்துட்டு control பண்றதுக்காகவும் monitor பண்றதுக்காகவும் நம்ம வந்திருக்கக்கூடியது தான் this RAISE scheme, and it's a joint initiative of EESL and USAID's MAITREE's program. இதோட ரெண்டுத்தோட மேஜர் இனிஷியேட்டிவ் தான் இது. ஸோ இதை யுஎஸ்ஏஐடியோட ஃபுல் ஃபார்ம் வந்துட்டு பார்த்தோம்னா யூஎஸ் ஏஜென்சி ஃபார் இன்டர்நேஷனல் டெவலப்மெண்ட்ஸ். ஸோ இது வந்து டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஏஜென்சி, யூஎஸ் ஏஜென்சி ஃபார் இன்டர்நேஷனல் டெவலப்மெண்ட், விச் இஸ் அ டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஏஜென்சி. வேர்ல்ட்ஸ் இன்டர்நேஷனல் டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஏஜென்சிஸ். ஸோ இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் தான் அது. ஸோ மைத்ரி, கமிங் டு மைத்ரி, மைத்ரியோட ஃபுல் ஃபார்ம் என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது மார்க்கெட் இன்டகிரேஷன் and transformation program. Program for energy efficiency. This is the full form. And இது என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது it's a bilateral partnership between Ministry of Power and USAID. Ministry of Power and USAID's bilateral partnership. So இது எதுக்குன்னா காஸ்ட் எஃபெக்டிவ் எனர்ஜி எஃபிஷியன்சியை வந்துட்டு பில்டிங்ஸ், நம்ம கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன், அந்த இது நிறைய இடத்துல we are going to bring companies அது எல்லாமே. and RAISE initiative is also for it, for safety and efficiency or air in buildings and then companies. We are coming with this initiative. So basically to improve the indoor air quality. So this is the thing. So other such initiatives enna appdin paakumbodhu, one is SAFAR initiative or System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research. So idhil enna it's a indigenously developed thing by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, whose headquarters is in Pune, and it is run by Indian Meteorological Department basically. So idhila enna panna poranga appdi paakumbodhu, they are going to provide real time air quality index. So on a daily basis, in the basis 24/7 basis la vandittu they are going to provide with real time air quality index, and it is going to be based on color coding. Okay va? And it's also vandittu health patti health advisory to citizens vandittu kudukranga. So another goal is this. So there is another initiative called Indoor Air Pollution Monitoring and Management. It's an initiative of National Clean Air Program. So இதோட initiative இது what they are going to do is it refers to physical by like what kind of the indoor environment is அப்படிங்கறத within a home, a building, institution or commercial facilities குள்ள how what is the quality of that air அப்படிங்கறது வந்து characteristics and quality of air வந்துட்டு இன்டோர்லங்கறத வந்துட்டு பாக்குறது தான். Like particulate matters இருக்கட்டும் இல்ல வேற ஏதாவது pollutants, how much of carbon dioxide is there, so dust particles வெளியிட்டு we are going to get everything from this indoor air pollution monitoring program. So going back to next issue, so Yukti web portal. So first coming to what is Yukti abin paakumbodhu, Yukti is Young India combating COVID with knowledge, technology and innovation. So how India is going to come up with the issues abingra madri. So it's basically for youth kaha. It's done by first one was Yukti 1 வந்து first வந்தாங்க. Next it is Ministry of Human Resource Development, which is now renamed as Ministry of Education Ministry or program. So what they are going to do is they are going to in the youth they are going to bring innovation into them. So it's one the extension of Yukti. It is Yukti 2 is extension of Yukti. They are going to build the innovation and technology into youths of today. So what they are going to do is youths வந்துட்டு மேஜரான social issues அந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்களை they are going to see what their solution are to be அப்படிங்கறது எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்து they are going to make use of it. So in the web portal வந்துட்டு it will be continuously monitoring and the monitor and record the initiatives done by MHRD. அதுதான் இந்த web portal பண்ணும். But what this Yukti will do is it will give these kind of innovation ecosystem வந்துட்டு யூத்ஸ்க்கு நடுவுல பில்ட் பண்றதுக்காக இது வருவாங்க. So basically public policy அந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்களுக்காக they will be either. So how the youths are chosen அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது from Smart India Hackathon, Smart India Technology Hackathon, basically societal problems வந்துட்டு how they are reacting, are they coming with some innovative solutions. So அந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள் மூலமா they are going to take. And other thing is when இப்ப வந்து ஒரு சிலர் வந்து few CSR responsibilities மூலமா there some few trust and those things will be funded. So அது மூலமா they are going to identify the youths. So it's basically for system to assimilate technology like for commercial potential extraction and also the startup. So basically to innovation and startup ecosystem build பண்றதுக்காக. So எந்தெந்த ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் கமர்ஷியல் யூனிட்ஸாவும் நம்மளால கன்வெர்ட் பண்ண முடியும் in terms of higher educations abingarada we are going to just integrate with the portal. So there are other such initiatives through which this higher education ecosystem is being developed. One such is Institute of Eminence. The Institutes of Eminence la enna panna porona, we are going to develop few institutes to the level of IITs and IIMs. So that is the major like IITs IIMs madri idu pannite the national rankings la la paathomna we are going to bring them under top 500 rankings kulla we are going to win national rankings எல்லாத்தையுமே top 500 la. So it's a Ministry of, as usual, Ministry of Education or MH, earlier it was MHRD, now it's Ministry of Education's program. 2016 la வந்துட்டு இதை லான்ச் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க ஹையர் எஜுகேஷனுக்காக. ஸோ வேர்ல்ட் கிளாஸ் டெக்னாலஜி ரிசர்ச் இது அது எல்லாத்தையுமே கொண்டு வரதுக்காக இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் பில்டிங் அண்ட் பேசிக்கலி இட் இஸ் ஃபார் improving the innovation ecosystem. So top 500 ranking kolla and it's a 1,000 crore funding has been given to public institution. If private institution has to be given this in the Institute of Innovation in the eminence status now, they will not be given any fund. They has to improve by them, develop by themselves. So basically they are saying that 20 institutions will be assigned this role அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ இதுல வந்து ஃபியூ இது கொடுக்குறாங்க. என்ன இந்த இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஆஃப் எமினன்ஸ்னா பேசிக்லி இது வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் ஆக்சசிபிளா இருக்கணும் திஸ் இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஆஃப் எமினன்ஸ். ஸோ அதுல பார்த்தோம்னா 30% வந்து ஃபாரின் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸை வந்துட்டு அட்மிட் பண்ணலாம்னு சொல்றாங்க. அந்த இந்த 25% வந்துட்டு ஃபாரின் ஃபேக்கல்டி கேன் பி ஹையர்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு இது இருக்கு. அண்ட் வந்து இது வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா institutions are free to fix their syllabus as well as fee structure, cost structure எல்லாமே in case of foreigners. So it's basically for academic collaboration kaha. Next comes the Atal Tinkering Lab, which is the initiative of Niti Aayog. This is also for improving the innovation ecosystem. Basically in the labs ellame வந்து students நடுவுல innovations, school students நடுவுல innovations கொண்டு வரதுக்காக they are free to make their own innovative ideas. So this is how it works. So moving to the next issue. So in the next issue of the it's regarding mission lantana. So lantana it's an invasive species. Lantana is an invasive species and it was introduced in the year 1807. Basically, 1807 it will be basically for this commercial plantation it would have been introduced. So இது என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது in Rajasthan, Sajangrang Wildlife Sanctuary these trees were these are small trees and shrubs. So these were found in large numbers. So அவங்கள அப்ரூவ் பண்றதுக்காக ஒரு மேஜர் டிரைவ் நடந்துச்சு. இதுல அப்ரூவ் பண்றது மட்டும் இல்லாம நேட்டிவ் ஸ்பீஷீஸையுமே they are growing. Native species are to be grown. That is the major aim of this drive, so that they can bring about afforestation in that area. So in since it's a wildlife sanctuary, though it's a small wildlife sanctuary, it hosts large number of animals like இது நேட்டிவ் அந்த இதெல்லாம் இருக்கு monkeys அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய அனிமல்ஸ் ஜாக்கல்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி அனிமல்ஸ் தான் இட் சப்போஸ். ஸோ அதை இது பண்றதுக்காக அப்ரூவ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. இட்ஸ் பிகாஸ் இட்ஸ் அன் இன்வேசிவ் ஸ்பீசிஸ். ஸோ இன்வேசிவ் ஸ்பீசிஸ்ங்கிறதுனால சாயில் ஃபுல்லாவே அது ஸ்ப்ரெட் ஆயிட்டு சாயிலோட ஃபர்டிலிட்டி அண்ட் எவ்ரி திங் ஹேஸ் பீன் டேமேஜ். ஸோ அதனால நேட்டிவ் ஸ்பீஷிஸ் க்ரோ பண்றதுக்கும் ப்ராப்ளம்ஸா இருக்கும். ஸோ அது எல்லாத்தையுமே தவிர்க்கிறதுக்காக அண்ட் இட் uses large amount of water. So water deplete ஆயிட்டு வரதுனால it has been done. So coming to that Sajangrang Wildlife Sanctuary, it is located in Udaipur district, south of Aravalli. It was made as a wildlife sanctuary in the year 1987, and this wildlife sanctuary has a artificial lake called Bari Lake or Tiger Lake, which was built by Maharana Raj Singhvi, who is a ex-ruler of Mewar. So basically பார்த்தோம்னா இந்த மகாராணா கிங்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு டைப் ஆஃப் கிங்ஸ் இருந்தாங்க. இந்த ஏரியாஸ்ல these kings were predominant for some time. So this is all about it. So just we need to see what like basically it will be given like what is mission lantana அப்படின்னு பேசிக்காவே questions கேட்கலாம். So or what is lantana the name கொடுத்துட்டு they can ask. It's a invasive species. So going to next issue. Next issue is Ambedkar Social Innovation and Incubation Mission. This is so இதுல என்ன பண்றோம்னா venture capital fund அப்படிங்கிறது for SC and Divyangsன்ற மாதிரி ஒரு fund இருக்கு. This is also basically for development of entrepreneurship skill in SC and Divyang youths. Divyangna specially able youths நம்ம சொல்லுவோம். So Divyang youths entrepreneurship skill build பண்றதுக்காக இருக்கிறது தான் இந்த venture capital fund. So இது அதுக்கு அண்டர்ல வரது தான் இந்த Ambedkar Social Innovation and Incubation Mission. So ASIIM அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. So what they are going to do is they are going to choose about thousands of SC youth. For over a period of 4 years, thousands of SC youths will be chosen by technology business incubators, and it will be provided with 30 lakhs of funds over a period of 3 years. So இப்போ இதுமே பார்த்தோம்னா startups are to be made commercial. So startups commercial unit மாத்துறதுக்காக and to bring entrepreneurship skills in இவங்களுக்காக கொண்டு வந்திருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அதுக்கு தான் பேசிக்கா இந்த ஸ்கீம் இருக்கு. Sorry guys, there has been a small mistake. Actually and regarding the Smart India Hackathon and everything, changing from startups to commercial holds for this scheme like Ambedkar Social Innovation Scheme. Yukti la adu kadayadu, I wrongly specified there. So please remember this. So Yukti la we are going to choose these SCs to SC people through Smart India Hackathon, who have been selected by Smart India Hackathon and Smart India Technology Hackathon. Then who have solved some social issues. The Smart India Hackathons is also for giving solutions and innovative ideas for social issues for same thing. And the third thing if they are funded by corporate social responsibility. If any trust or something is funded, startup is funded by corporate social responsibility, then from there we will be choosing and we are going to do this to bring entrepreneurial skills in SC people. So இது எப்படி பண்ண போறோம்னா the startup companies வந்துட்டு majorly held by Dalit techies அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி we are going to bring it. So this is the thing. So at last I will one time say about Yukti thing. So Yukti web portal, just forget all this. I'm extremely sorry. I gave the wrong information about Yukti. Yukti is just to record, this web portal is just to record the schemes and whatever initiatives are done by MHRD, and it is also to bring in technology and innovation in higher education. So how this startups and all can be, that nature and startup ecosystem can be involved or can be collaborated with higher education. So அதெல்லாமே தான் பண்ண போறோம். It is not related to this hackathons or choosing of இதெல்லாம். I am extremely sorry for this. There has been a mistake in this. Sorry. So let's move on to the last topic of today. The last topic is Kolangchu hydroelectric project. So this Kolangchu hydroelectric project is a 600 megawatt project between India and Bhutan. So it's a 600 megawatt project between India and Bhutan. Earlier, there was a project called Mangdechu project inaugurated between India and Bhutan. Now it's a 600 Konglongchu is a river in Bhutan over which this project has been constructed. So this will be the first ever joint venture by India and Bhutan between Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam and Drug Green Power Corporation from India and Bhutan. So this is one of the 4 additional projects that is agreed in 2008 between India and Bhutan, so that Bhutan can held a 10,000 megawatt installed capacity by 2020. So it's a added program. So the project will be a joint venture of 50:50 and expected to be completed in the year 2025. So sorry for the misinformation. I guess I have rectified it. If you further have any doubt in that, please comment to us. So thank you. Let's end the session.